Can you actually fit the most British day possible in less than 24 hours? I wasn't sure either. On paper, this itinerary looked completely doable. In reality, London had a few options of its own. For Diego's birthday, I turned the whole day into a scavenger hunt. Every clue unlocked another British experience, but there was one rule. We had to keep moving. We had 3 stops, 1 day, and absolutely no room for things to go wrong. The goal was not only to celebrate his birthday, but also to find out if it was actually an itinerary worth recommending, or if I had completely underestimated London. Every year I tried to make Diego's birthday feel a little different. This time, instead of giving him one gift, I made London the gift.
One, but you do not know.
Each card had a clue, and each clue unlocked the next stop.
And then I'll give you the clues as we go through the day.
Before we started walking all over London, we needed breakfast, because doing a scavenger hunt on an empty stomach is how villains are made. We stopped at Royal Artisan Bakery, grabbed pastries, coffee, and mentally prepared for the disaster. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty scared I wasn't gonna be able to pull this off.
It isn't chicken soup.
And if we wouldn't, at least the food would be good. I kept noticing that even the walk felt like part of the experience. We'd turn a corner, there'd be another beautiful building, another park, another street that looked familiar.
It smells like horses.
Even though I've never been here before, I really fell in love with London's architecture. I remember thinking London has a way of making simple walks feel important, like royal.
It looks so pretty.
Then Buckingham Palace finally came into view, and I had that one moment when you realize, oh, we're actually here.
We made it to the palace and it's so beautiful in here. I love it. I don't want to stay here.
This was the stop I was probably looking forward to the most. I've never seen the changing of the guard before, and I was excited that Diego was finally getting able to experience it too. The only thing making me nervous was the weather. It kept raining on and off, but then we saw how many people were waiting. I figured there was no way they'd cancel it. Then the officers on the horseback started riding by telling everyone to come back another day. Nobody moved. Honestly, not a single person budged. We all looked at each other like we heard it wrong, but they weren't joking. The ceremony was canceled. So after all the anticipation, we basically stood there in complete silence, watched the royals pass by, and the crowd went mild.
They canceled it, but we saw horses. The horses were cute.
After that, I think we all needed a reset. We grabbed something to drink, found a bench, and finally had a chance to slow down for a minute.
The clouds look fake.
Then it was time for the next clue. I'd actually been looking forward to this one all morning because I knew exactly how Diego was going to react once he figured out where we were going next.
The receipt, or you just want the receipt?
I was hoping he just didn't guess it too quickly.
No.
I'd been waiting for this stop ever since I started planning this trip because if there's one thing Diego genuinely loves, it's airplanes. I kept telling myself we'd probably spend 30 or 40 minutes here. The second we walked inside, I'd realized I completely underestimated this place.
Oh my god, that's a mission? Needles, syringes.
I thought we saw a few planes, take some pictures, and keep it moving, but the very first room changed that. Everywhere I looked, there was another aircraft hanging above us, another engine, another exhibit that made us stop. I kept thinking, okay, just one more look, and then we'd turn around the corner and find something else. What surprised me the most wasn't even the airplanes anymore, it was how much there was to explore between them. There were prototypes, engines, timelines, and little details that kept pulling me in. I went in thinking this would be mostly for aviation fans, but actually, I think anyone who's even a little curious would have a good time here. I had no idea a museum like this even existed in London, and by this point, I was already thinking, this is a place I'd actually come back to.
The Hangar 5.
Then we made it into the Sunderland, and I think this was a moment I realized how much Diego was enjoying himself. He immediately wanted to go inside, so I volunteered to stay out with the backpack, a very important job, obviously.
So big.
While he was exploring, I just stood there looking up to this thing, wondering how something that looked more like a floating building than an airplane ever got off the ground.
I'll meet him on the other side, since my backpack won't fit.
A few minutes later, he came out with the biggest smile, and that was probably my favorite part. By this point, I was convinced we seen most of the museum. Then we found another hangar, and then another one after that. Every time I thought we were heading to the exit, there was another airplane waiting around the corner. Somewhere in the middle of all that, I ended up in the gift shop because apparently I can't walk past the museum gift shop without just looking.
Look, there's more. Look, there's more notebooks here. Look, para hacerte cookies, stick fire.
Looking back, I think I seriously underestimated how much we'd spent here, but I wasn't even mad about it. By the time we made it to the last hangar, I think we'd both accepted that this museum was a lot bigger than either of us expected.
They're so cool.
It ended up being one of those places where every room gave you a reason to stay a little longer. Once we'd finally made our way upstairs,
We're in the lift.
it felt like the perfect time to take a break because Diego still had one more clue to open.
Oh, here.
What are you looking for?
Your second clue is gone. Oh, look at my London hat.
That's not yours.
At that point, I was more excited to watch him figure it out than I was to reveal it.
Oh, show me your chase credit card numbers.
You ready for your second clue?
Yes.
Here you
So that's clue number 3.
I say number 2.
You know I messed up.
Walking back out, I kept thinking that this stop turned out exactly the way I'd hoped it would. Not because we saw the biggest airplanes, but because I got to watch Diego spend the afternoon doing something he genuinely enjoys. Our last stop of the day was one I'd actually planned a few months before we even flew to London. I emailed the Wolseley ahead of time because I wanted everything to be ready for Diego's birthday, and they were incredibly kind and helpful from the very beginning. Walking through those doors felt like we finally made it. After everything we'd packed into the day, sitting down for a minute almost felt like part of the celebration. This was a moment I'd been looking forward to the most. I'd made afternoon pastries countless of times as a pastry chef, but I never actually sat down for a traditional afternoon tea in London. Seeing the tea arrive, the pastries, the little sandwiches, it felt familiar but completely new at the same time.
And then I get to try the Battenberg cake, my dream. I always make it. And then your biscuits up here. And the clotted cream, fresh cream whip. I got it.
Once everything was on the table, I immediately went into pastry chef mode and started cutting everything in half so we could try as much as possible. We worked our way through the sandwiches, the scones, and eventually the desserts. The whole experience lived up to what I imagined.
This oil. It's a bread. This is egg. It's famous everywhere you go. You have to get the egg tea sandwich. Let's take a few at tomato.
Like I said, I've made these so many times, but it was so much fun sitting here, the whole experience, and trying the legit thing.
They're so nice here. Did you say Popeyes? I love it here. Everything's so delicious.
By the time we reached the birthday desserts, I already knew this stop had been a success. This is absolutely somewhere I definitely come back every time I visit the UK. So, can you experience Britain's most iconic things in one day? but probably not the way you planned. The rain might humble you, the changing of the guard might get cancelled, and one museum might completely destroy your schedule. But looking back, I barely remembered the plan. I remember Diego opening the clues, all of us refusing to believe the horses, walking beneath the airplanes, and ending our day over tea and pastries. I think that's what made this challenge work. We didn't complete some perfect version of London, we let the city surprise us. London didn't give us the perfect birthday ever, it gave us a very British one, and that one was better.